Amazing facts about frogs. Frogs are amphibians, which means they're able to live on land and in water. They have striking characteristics, like protruding eyes, webbed feet, and their skin is smooth and moist. Most of them live in water, but some species of frog live in trees or burrow down into the ground. Frogs have very strong back legs, designed to help them leap and swim. A frog's diet also varies depending on its species. Some eat insects and other worms, while others prey on other frogs, small rodents and reptiles. Frogs have a fascinating life cycle. Female frogs lay fertilized eggs, and these eggs then hatch into frog spawn. Between 6 and 21 days later, the frog spawn hatches into tadpoles. Tadpoles have no limbs, only tails to help them swim. It takes about 6 to 9 weeks for tadpoles to become fully grown, though this varies between species. During this time, they swim, eat, and grow. After about 12 weeks, the tadpole grows its legs and arms. Its body gets longer and its head gets bigger. It starts to be able to breathe underwater too. At this point, it also still has a tail. Adult frogs lose their tails. It takes between 12 and 16 weeks for the frog to go from egg to full-grown adult. Frogs have ears. Male frogs have bigger ears than females. Their ears are just behind their eyes. Frogs drink through their skin. Frogs are cold-blooded, they hibernate in winter. There are around 7,300 species of frog. Over a third of frog species are considered endangered. Frogs are an extremely ancient species. Recent evidence suggests that the species is over 265 million years old, and originates from the Permian period. There are fossils of complete frogs, too, which show that, physically, they haven't changed much in this time. Some adult frogs are poisonous, but their main form of defense from predators is camouflage. Flying frogs can glide for 12 to 15 meters, as they have extremely effective webbed feet. Female frogs can lay thousands of eggs at a time. Frogs have really strong leg muscles. This makes them incredible jumpers. Some bullfrogs, which average 18 centimeters long, can leap over 2 meters, that's 10 times their length. The biggest frog in the world is the Goliath frog, which is 30 centimeters long. Frogs produce mucus from their skin to ensure they stay moist when they're above the water. This helps them to breathe through their skin too. The only places they struggle to live in are freezing environments in the polar regions, although some frogs do live in the Arctic Circle. They don't inhabit some of the world's islands either, because the salty seawater would dehydrate them and frog spawn can't survive in salt water. Research suggests frogs have adapted to inhabit everywhere from subarctic regions to the humid heat of tropical rainforests. Make sure they have access to water. A small, clean pond with plants growing in and around it is great. If you don't have a pond, simply make sure to leave lots of leaf litter, stones and logs around one area of your garden. Tall plants and grasses will help frogs to camouflage and stay cool. Frogs love to roam, and your garden could become a holiday retreat for your local frogs. Garden ponds are helping to make up for a huge loss in wetlands and ponds in places like the UK. Many frogs rely on camouflage to prevent predators from spotting them. Species like the common frog live in grassy muddy banks around ponds and lakes across Europe and parts of Asia. They are often speckled with brown and green-brown splodges, which helps them to hide under grasses, mud and leaves. Frog tongues are super soft but made of powerful muscles. Frogs can snap up their prey 5 times faster than you can blink. Their softness means they can wrap tightly around their prey. As the frog targets a prey animal, they open their jaw and the extender muscle propels the tongue outwards at a rate of 4 meters per second. The retractor muscle, meanwhile, works like a bungee, bringing the tongue back into the frog's mouth with its tasty food. To swallow, frogs suck in their eyes. This helps push food down their throats. The real secret is in their super sticky spit. Frog saliva is a special kind of substance known as a non-Newtonian fluid. This means it can behave both as a liquid and a solid. As the frog pulls their prey in with their tongue, the saliva hardens, ensuring their prey can't escape. Some frogs do have teeth, but not all. It depends on the species of frog. Most common species have tiny frog teeth on their upper jaw, which are usually less than 1 millimeter long. One frog, the Gastrophic, is the only frog out of more than 7,000 species to have true teeth in its upper and lower jaws. All toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. Toad is just the common name for certain types of frogs. People usually use the name toad to describe frogs which have drier, leathery skin, short, stocky legs, large bumps over glands on their back. These specialized glands release a substance to ward off predators. Suriname toads, female Suriname toads, have special skin on their backs, like bubble wrap. They protect their young by carrying their eggs, and tadpoles, on their backs in tiny bubble backpacks. This means the baby frogs hatch out of their mothers' backs. Glass frogs are a family of frogs which have near transparent, see-through, skin on their bellies for which they're named. This means you can see glass frogs' intestines, heart and liver. They are found in the trees of Central and South American coastal forests. Poison frogs are tiny rainforest dwellers. They are brightly colored, often with amazing patterns, to warn predators of their toxicity. Wood frogs are a species of frog that can withstand a yearly freeze. They can withstand being frozen throughout winter. Their blood contains a kind of antifreeze-like liquid which helps them to thaw when it's springtime. Watch this video below to take a look at this amazing adaptation. Red-eyed tree frogs are found in the tropical lowlands of Central and South America. They are nocturnal carnivores. They sleep underneath leaves during the day and hunt insects by night. They are famous around the world for their bright green color and startling red eyes. Their big eyes are covered by 3 eyelids which camouflage their eyes while they sleep, making them look like leaves. They flash shades of blue when they're disturbed. Frogs have excellent night vision and are very sensitive to movement. The bulging eyes of most frogs allow them to see in front, to the sides and partially behind them. When a frog swallows food, it pulls its eyes down into the roof of its mouth, to help push the food down its throat. Frogs were the first land animals with vocal cords. Male frogs have vocal sacs, pouches of skin that fill with air. These balloons resonate sounds like a megaphone, and some frog sounds can be heard from a mile away. Red-eyed tree frogs are ambush predators. They make use of the cover of their leafy, shadowy habitat to hide in wait for unsuspecting insects, before catching them with their impressive long, sticky tongue. Red-eyed tree frogs are a fantastic indicator species. Researchers will use the number of red-eyed tree frogs in a section of rainforest, to see how healthy the ecosystem is. Like tiny jewels hopping around the forest floor, poison frogs are some of the most brightly colored animals on Earth. They live in wet, tropical forests in Central and South America. Some aren't very poisonous at all, most are no bigger than a paper clip, and the biggest poison frogs are only about 2 inches long. Each species makes unique calls to communicate with one another in the huge forests in which these small creatures live. There are over 200 species of tiny, colorful poison frogs. This family of frogs may be commonly known as poison dart frogs, but there are only around 3 species whose poison was and is used by indigenous people of the Americas to lace their arrow tips before hunting. This reported list includes the golden poison frog, the most toxic of all frogs. Many species of poison dart frog will carry both their eggs and tadpoles on their backs, which protects them and keeps them safe from predators. Males are particularly doting caregivers. Male poison frogs take on much of the parenting duties during this vulnerable stage in the life cycle of a frog. Females will often lay unfertilized eggs for their tadpoles to eat. Golden poison frogs are small but mighty. Although averaging at 1.5 inches in length, a single adult frog has enough venom to kill around 10 adult human men, in theory. They aren't a threat to any mammals. They enjoy a diet of mainly ants, but they're not fussy. They will eat crickets, beetles and termites. Adults can eat insects much larger than their own size. Research suggests that their poison actually comes from their diet. They are able to accumulate certain chemicals from their food in their bodies which is turned into a lethal poison. It's rare to stumble upon them. They are found only within a small patch of rainforest in Colombia, near to the Pacific coast.